Hi everyone. Today we are going to start the Salesforce integration day 15. What are we going to learn today? We'll quickly go through the previous session overview and we'll continue that. So last class we have discussed about how to create a REST resource in the server, and we have implemented a get resource and we have implemented the post, and using the workbench we have called this getting the details and posting the information we have seen in the last class. Now today what we are going to do is today we are going to implement the another continuation of the yesterday's class, which is a patch. So let me log into the server. In the server, if you go to the developer console, and in the developer console, it was the class that we have implemented last time. The class which we have implemented is login. Let's log into Samskar ID, and then now here let me connect to the developer console. Okay, so the last class which we have implemented related to lead file open resource lead service. I guess lead service was lead REST service. Now last class we have implemented the HTTP get and HTTP delete, and then HTTP post we have implemented. Now today we will be implementing the HTTP patch. So basically by using the patch is nothing but where I'm going to update the details. Let's assume that we have so many leads are there here. We have so many leads are available. Now I wanted to update let me open one of the lead here. Now in the lead we have so many details. Let's assume that I wanted to update the email in the server. Now how can I update the email in the server? Now let's go ahead and implement a method called patch method. That means I'm going to update the data. Now here ampersand, now I'm adding the annotation here, HTTP patch. HTTP patch, and my method always has to start with a global static and string. Let's say I'm updating the update lead email. I'm updating the email. Now for patch, we can expect the parameters. It is allowed to expect the parameters. So what I'm going to expect, I'm going to expect the only email. Whatever the new email is there, that's what I'm going to expect. Now here, let's say try and catch. Same concept yesterday, whatever we have implemented. Now in the catch, I'll say exception. As an exception, next. Now here try, I'm going to first I'm going to receive the information. So what I'll do is I'll say here in the URL, whatever the email that I'm passing it, that email I wanted to capture. That email I wanted to capture. So what I'll do is REST request. By using the REST request, I can get that. Because here we will have one of the clause called REST context. Now, yesterday we had a discussion on this REST context dot. Here we have a request. In the request, whatever the request dot request URI, I'm going to get the URI. Now these details I'll be loading into the one string. These details I'll store it into the one string, which is called as a request URI. A request URI equal to req dot request URI. Now here string lead ID equal to request URI, whatever this request URI is there. From this URI, I'll be getting the after slash name equal to or lead ID equal to whatever the ID is there, I'll be receiving complete text. Now I need to take it as a substring of that. I need to take it as a substring of that. Now inside this substring, now we have a something equal to. There will be some value will be there equal to request URI. This we have discussed yesterday. So same thing I'm using the last index is equal to and after that let's add the 1. Let's add 1. Now this is lead ID. I'm getting the lead ID. Now finally I'll query the particular lead. Basically from the workbench I'll be passing the ID. So based on that ID, I'll query the data. That means select ID, comma email from lead where ID equal to I have a information of lead ID. So I'll take the lead ID here. Now this data, I'm going to store it in my lead object. Lead, let's say this is my lead equal to, I'm querying the data and storing it. Now here, whatever the data I'm getting it, I need to check whether the email is there. Whatever the email is there, is that email is similar to the previous one or is it a different? Now whatever I'm passing it here email in the batch, is that email is same as this email. If it is the same as this email, we should not be updating it. If it is a different, then we should be updating the email. Now I'll check here if whatever I am getting the my lead, I'll make sure that this is not equal to null as well as ampersand. I'll say that my lead, whatever the my lead is there, my lead dot email not equal to whatever the new email is there. If it is not equal to new email, what I'll do is I'll get the string of old email equal to whatever the existing lead inside the existing lead, whatever the email that I have, whatever the lead that I have, I'll get the existing of it. Now I'll store the existing one here, right? What I can do is I can declare this string on outside. Now old email will contain the old information, and now what I'll do is I'll set the new email into my lead. I'll set the new email into my lead. Now once this is done, now what I can do is simply I can update the whatever the my lead is there, I can simply update the my lead. Now once we update it, now I need to send the response. So let me declare here string. I'll declare the one variable which is called as a response. Now here once it is updated, I'll say here response message equal to whatever the lead is there, lead updated from old email, whatever the old email is there. So I'll use the old email plus, now I have the information of the old email in the old email variable plus new email as whatever the new email is there, that new email I'm going to paste it here. That means lead is updated, whatever the lead is there, that lead is updated from old email to the new email. This is the response. In case if there is any issue, in case if there is any issue, now it is, for example, I did not find the lead. I did not find the lead. In that case, what I'll do is I'll add an else condition. I can add an else condition here. In case I did not find any lead, in that case, I'll say here response message current lead. In case current lead is same as the old email and new email. Current lead has the same email as new email. Right, so this is else condition. If it in case if it is a same, then I am going to respond it saying that response message is current lead whatever you are sending it, that lead is having the same information. Or else, simply I'll print here error message. In case if there is any error happens, I'll go to the response message. Now here I'll mention that exception occurred during the lead update. Whatever the lead update is there, during that it is updated. exe dot get message. And finally, I'll return the whatever the response message is there. That response message I'm going to print it. I can't save. Now this is patch. Now let me connect the workbench. Now here production, login as a production, which is logging it as a Samskar ID. Whatever the credentials are there, I'm passing the credentials. Now I'll go to the REST Explorer. REST Explorer. Now what is the data that I need here? I'm going to call the Apex call. So here it should be Apex REST slash. Now here I need to pass the whatever the URL mapping name is there, that URL mapping name. And then what I'm going to process here, I'm going to process the lead ID. Lead ID. So let me take one lead here. Now here this is the lead ID. Now what I'm going to perform, I'm going to perform a patch. Because what are the logic that I have implemented, that is for the patch. Now I need a patch, I'm going to execute it. So I have selected the patch. It is expecting the request body. What is the body that I need to pass in? The parameter it is expecting the new email. Copy that new email. Copy the new email, which is a key, colon, I'm going to process. What is the value here? Email, it is different value is there. So what I'll do, I'll pass the Samskar ID @gmail.com. @gmail.com and click on execute. Click on execute it. Now show the response. It says that lead updated from old email, which is a Samskar ID skumar34@gmail.com to new email Samskar ID @gmail.com. Right? Now if I go ahead and refresh it, now the email gets updated with the Samskar ID @gmail.com. In case if I'm trying to process again the same email ID with the same lead ID, then what will happen? It will give me that current lead has a same email as a new email. It has a same email. Now, in case if I pass the incorrect details here, I'm passing the incorrect ID. In that case, what will happen? It will go to the exception. Will go to exception. Exception occurred during the lead update list has a no rows for the assignment of S object. because the ID is incorrect. ID is incorrect. So this is how we are going to implement the patch. So the logic, if you look at whether it is a post or whether it is a delete or whether it is a get. So what is it is common? The common is REST request. I'm getting the REST request and REST request URI, right? Whatever the URI I'm getting it, I'm querying the data. And then this is the main important. These three lines are important. Whatever you are getting it from the here, from this URL, whatever you are sending it, it is going to send the information. It is going to send this details. So these three are important. Now, because I need to hear what is the ID that is sent here. What is the ID that is sent has to be listened by the Apex class. How can I listen it using the REST context dot request? I can store it into the REST request. Now these three are important. Once you have the data here, now this is a normal Apex logic, whatever you wanted to do. This is normal Apex logic, whatever you wanted to do. So this is how we will implement it, and through the workbench, here is the one we are going to execute it. Now,
Swapna?
yes,
Swapna?
yeah.
Here, if I'm having more than one query field, because you are directly taking last index of, right? If I'm having more than one query field. For example, if I want to update my email and contact phone number,
Mhm.
how can I capture the index value?
So contact
Field value.
here you have to leave it, right? For example,
Yes.
phone is there.
Mm.
Okay, now here you need to enter some data. That means you are expecting another parameter. So it here
Mm.
string phone, right? So in that case, what you can do is my lead dot phone equal to this phone. Whatever the body is there in the request body, that request body has to be in the parameter. Whatever on top is there, if you have a multiple information here, if you have a concatenation and if you have a multiple data, you are passing it and percent, let's say you are passing email equal to, let's say some star item. In this case, what you have to do, you have to get anyway, you have to get this whatever the lead ID is there. Now here you know that always the client is going to pass the lead ID. In that case, what you can do is you need to get the substring of whatever the lead ID is there. Get that lead ID, right? And then you have a so many methods are there in the string. If you go to the string apex class, if you go to the string apex class, in the string apex class, you have a substring which is going to divide it. But before the substring, now you wanted to split the URL first. You wanted to split the URL. In that case, in the string method, we have a something called split. Something called split is available. Split by character type, character canon, right? Starts with, if you want to check what is the starts with, or if you want to just take a split of the first divide that URL, and then you can get the information. Now here, if you go here, now it is giving the split. Now let's say that this is the some URL you are providing it. Now you wanted to capture something after this all the slashes. Now you are going to divide that. Now divide that, split it first. Then from that, what you can do, what is the common parameter? The special character is there. From the special character, again you have to divide it. Again you have to divide. So you have to use the split as well as the substring of the first and substring of the second, the last one.
Okay, Swapna.
Okay, so now so far we have seen how to do it from the workbench. The next step is what I'm going to implement is now we have implemented the server side, and server side we have implemented the REST API. REST resource we have implemented here. Now how we are calling it using the workbench. Using the workbench, I'm invoking this REST class, and then it is sending the details, right? It is sending the, I'm sending the request, it is sending the response. Now I'm going to use the client. In the client, let's see how to invoke the REST, whatever we have implemented in the server, how to invoke in the client. So that's what we are going to see right now. Now, in order to invoke that, the first thing what I need is, in case if I wanted to build the URL also, in case if I wanted to build the URL also, how my URL will be, it should have a proper URL. So this is the endpoint. I need to build this endpoint in the client side. I need to build this endpoint. So in order to build this endpoint in the client side, what are data that I needed? I need whatever the client ID is there, I need that client ID. And similarly, I need a whatever the client secret is there, I need a client secret. Then I need a username password, right? And then these are the details I need to know. And also along with this, I need to know the server details. Which is my server? So that means I need to know client ID, client secret, username, password, and server details. Whatever the server details are there, these server details I need to know. Now, instead of implementing this logic in the code, initially what we have done is, in the code, we have implemented this endpoint, something kind of a hard coding, or else by providing the consumer key, consumer secret. Now this is also I need to provide it, right? So by providing that, I have given the data here, right? Like whenever I'm implementing the rest, every time I need to do this. Now, instead of doing into the Apex classes, what I'll do is I'll create a object. I'll create a custom object. I'll create a custom object. Now, let's say this custom object name is integration setup. Integration setup. In this, I'm going to create a fields. What are the fields that I need? I need client ID in order to store the client ID. I need a client secret in order to store the client secret details. In order to store the client secret details. Then I wanted to know what is the server username. What is the server username? And I wanted to know the server password. What is the server password? And similarly, what else I need to know? I need to know the who is my server. So server name. Server name. These are the fields which I am going to create it. Mostly all the fields are text or a long text. Client ID, client secret, I'll create it as a long text. Long text. Long text area I'll create it. Rest of them are text. So this, where I'm going to create it, I'm going to create it in the client side. Whatever the client org is there, in the client org, I'm going to create this data. Create this object and the fields. Let me connect the client org. This is the client org. Go to the object manager. Now I'm going to create a new object. Now new object name is integration setup. Integration setup. This is object name. And it says setups. And then here setup name is, I'm going to create it as the auto number. And as soon as the record is created, automatically capture the auto number instead of entering the name. So here I'll give a 00 and starting number is 1. Now allow reports, activities, allow activity, deployment, then let's add the tab also. Now here tab style, I'll click on some tab style, click on it, next. And as usual, I'm going with the next. You know how to create a custom object, so I'm simply creating one custom object. Now within the custom object, I'll create a field. One is which I need a data type of long text area. Click on a next. in the long text area, I'll say here client ID. Client ID. Now let's keep it as a 32,768. By default, it is giving that, so I'll take the same thing. Now click on the next button. Now, as usual, what are the steps we have? All the steps by default, I'll take it and click on the save and new. Again, one more I'm going to create it, which is a text area long. And here we'll label I need a client secret. Client secret, and click on the next. Click on the save and new. Next one which I'm going to create is, let's take a text, and I need to know the server username. Server username. Let's say this is server username. Click on the next. Length I'm going to specify 100. And click on the, as usual, click on the next button. Save and new. And I'll create another text which is a password. Server password. Server password length is 100. Click on the next button. Click on next. And click on the save. Save and new. I need to create another one which is a server name. Let's create a new one. Click on the next button. Now here it is a server name. This is also, I'll give it as 100. Now click on the next button. Click on next and save. Now we have a client ID, client secret, server name, server password, server username. We have all the details. Now let's go back to the tab. So this tab is, which one? What we have created? Integration. Integration setups. Now, this meeting will end in 10 minutes. So log in with the same ID. Click on here, new button. Now client ID, I need a client ID. Now for the client ID, if you remember last time whenever we have implemented a, in the anonymous window, we have all the details, so I'll copy those details. Now here I have a client ID is nothing but consumer key. I'll copy this consumer key. I'll paste it here. And then this is the customer secret number. And then server name. I'll say that server name is, let's say, Samskar IT2. And this is the username. Sorry, this is the username. And server name is here. Samskara IT2. And the password has to be combination of password and security token. Now I'll create it. Click on save. Perfect. So we have a integration which is created. Setup name is int-001. I have a client ID, secret, server username, server password, and server name. These are the details which we have. So once I have done with the setup, now how do I write a logic in order to get the information? How do I get logic in order to, what I need to check whether it is the request is going properly or not, whether I'm receiving the response or not. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll implement a Apex class. I'll implement a Apex class. Let's say that click on this file, new Apex class. My Apex class is I'm going to implement a integration class. Integration class. Click on done. The first thing what I need is I need to check whether whatever I'm doing it, right? Whatever I'm implemented here on the client ID secret, first I need to make sure that this client is there, this client is able to communicate with the server or not. Able to communicate with the server or not. So what I do, public void, let's say request access token. Now we are going to implement here. What we are going to implement, I need to get the client ID, client secret, username, password. First, I need to get those details. Username, password. All these details I need to get that. Now, how can I get it? So we have created the object called, which is an integration. Object called integration. Edit object. Now, if this invitation might disconnect in 5 minutes, if it is disconnected, please log in back with the same URL. Now, here I have a object name is integration setup. I'll go to the developer console, list of whatever the integration setup is there, and get the integration. Let's say that this is integration list. Integration list. Now what I'm doing here, select ID, comma, what are the fields that we have created? Fields we have created, client ID, comma, client secret, comma, and then we have a server name, comma, we have a server username, password. I'm going to get all the fields name of from the integration setup. From the integration setup, I'm going to get the information. Now, sometimes it is possible that in the integration, I might be having a multiple records. I might be having a multiple records. So the one way is I can provide the where condition. I can provide the where condition. So what I do here, I can select here where. Whatever the server name is there, server name equal to Samskar IT2. Server name equal to Samskar IT2. Right, so now I'm going to get the list of it. I'm going to get the list of the records. Now, first thing I'm going to check here is mine, what are the list is there. Is this list is not equal to none? If this list is not equal to none, and this list has some records, which is the size is greater than 0. Size is greater than 0. In that case, what we can do is, we are going to get the, I need to build the URL. I need to build the URL. What is the URL that I need to build it? So the URL which we were discussing about the endpoint URL. Endpoint URL. What this one? This is the endpoint URL. This is my endpoint URL. Now I need to start building it. String. I'll leave it as an access token endpoint. Access token endpoint equal to. So whatever this URL is there, I'll give the URL. Next. access token endpoint, access token endpoint equal to access token endpoint plus. Now after this, I need to provide the what are the next one is there after token I need to provide the now this one grant type password. Grant type password. You can give this directly in the token also. That should be fine. So this is grant type password. Next one is I need to provide the client ID. I need to provide client ID plus here I'm going to put it and person client ID equal to whatever this integration list is there. Inside this integration list, the first record of it, first record of I need to pass the client ID here. I need to pass the client ID. Now, similarly, I am going to do the same thing, access token here, plus access token. The next one which I need to process the client secret. Client secret. Client secret equal to plus what are the integration what are the integration list is there, that integration list of the first record dot I need to pass the client secret, right? And then next step is I need to process the username. It is going to ask the username plus where is the username? Username is in integration list dot server username. Server username. Next access token. Whatever this access. So access token. And then I need to pass here the details of what is the next one I need to pass? I need to pass the password. Ampersand password. Plus what are the integration is the integration list dot I need to pass the server password. Server password. Now I'm done with implementing the access token endpoint. I'm done with implementing. I'm providing the client ID, client secret, username, password. Everything I'm providing it. Now here, once I'm done with this, the next thing is we need to implement a protocol. HTTP H equal to new HTTP, then HTTP request, REQ equal to new HTTP request, right? And then I request dot. Now I need to set the endpoint. Set the endpoint. Set the endpoint equal to whatever the access token endpoint is there, that access token I need to give it. Now what should be the method here? Method should be the post method because now we are going to post client ID, client secret, username, password. I'm going to post it and then I'm going to get the token. Now here I'm going to post. I'm going to post the request. Now, this is the method is a post. Now, also we need to implement a header. Also, we need to implement a header. REQ dot set or it's a set header. We have a set header. In the set header, I need to pass the key, which is a authorization. I need to pass authorization Now, what is the value? What should be the value? Now, let me implement the value here. Now, first I need to implement the blob of header value, because how I'm going to implement by taking the username and password. Now, blob of value of what I'm going to take here, I'm going to take the integration username. Now this is a username. Along with this, I need to pass the password also. By passing the username and password, I'm going to print the header. The next one is I need to pass the password. Now, once this header is implemented, now I need to convert that into the basic encoding util, right? So string, let's say authorization value. What are the authorization value? Is there that authorization value? I'll take it here. Basic plus encoding. What are the encoding? Util
Hello.
dot. I'm going to
Hello.
convert it using the base 64 encoding.
Hello.
Base 64 encode.
Hello.
In the base 64 encode, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the header value. Now this authorization value, I'm going to pass it here. Right? Now my header is ready. Now I have an endpoint, I have a method, I have a header. Whenever you want to send a request, these three are important: endpoint, method, header. Now what I can do is next, by using the protocol, I can send the request. Whatever the request is there, I can send this request. So once we send the request, we will be receiving the response. So that response I'll be storing into the HTTP response equal to whatever we are getting the response, I'm going to store it. So finally here system.debug. I'll say here HTTP response response dot get body. Now here I am going to get the body request dot get the body. Under the response is there, response of get body. Now, this is how I'm going to receive the body. This is not the first time, we have already written this kind of a code in my previous example. Now, once I receive the response, now what we have to do, we have to do the deserialization. We have to do the deserialization. Now, for deserialization, what we have to use? We have to use the JSON parser. Parser equal to JSON dot create parser. Now here I'm going to provide the JSON string, which is a whatever the body I'm getting body from the response, that data I'm going to pass it here. Now while deserializing it, I need to go through the each token. Now how I'm going to get the response? Response that we are going to get it in the form of, which we have already seen. Let me show you that. Now we will receive it in this format. Access token, instance URL, ID, token type, issue date, signature. This is how we receive it. Now I'm interested on the access token and instance URL. I'm going to get the value of the access token, value of the instance URL. Now I'll say here while Whatever the parser is the parser dot. I'll go to the next token. If it is a next token not equal to null, next token is not equal to null, then go to the next if parser dot get text equal to what I'm going to get, the response will be access token. The response will be access token. If it is an access token, then what I need to do is go to the next token, parser dot next token, and then get me the parser dot get text. And that text will be, I'll be storing into the one variable which is called as a access token. I'll be storing into the access token. Perfect. Now that access token declaration, I'll do it on the top. Now let's take it here, access token. Now I'll declare it in the top, public string access token. Public string access token. Similarly, what I wanted, I need a instance URL. I'm going to take the instance URL, I'm going to get it. Now for this instance URL, I'm going to write the same logic. If parser dot get text, parser dot get text equal to, if it is an instance URL, go to the next token and get me the text value. Get me the text value. But here I'm going to use the new variable which is called as the instance URL. This is instance URL. Copy this and declare this is also public string instance URL. Public string instance URL, and the declaration is done. The declaration is done. Now if I execute it, I'm going to get the data of instance URL and the access token. Right, so let me execute this debug. And last time we have written the same logic here. And what I'll do is integration class. Integration class. Now I'll do one thing. Instead of running into the developer console, what I'll do is I'll display this into the visual force page. I'll implement a visual force page. In the visual force page, I'm going to display the access token. I'm going to display the access token. So let's save this file, new visual force page. Let's say this visual force page is df underscore integration. df underscore integration. Click on a save, and here my controller equal to, this is my controller name, integration class. Perfect. Now here I'll click on next. Now within this apex form, and then let's say apex page block, apex colon page block, title equal to, let's say integration HTTP integration HTTP, or let's simply say REST integration. REST integration. REST API integration. Now, within this, I'm going to display the access token, and then I'm going to display the instance URL. First one is the access token. And next, I'm going to display the instance URL. Instance URL. So, if I wanted to get those values, it has to be a set and get. It has to be a set and get. It has to be a set and get. Now here I'll use the access token to display. I'm going to display the access token. And here I'm going to display the instance URL. Instance URL. Now where I'm writing this logic, I'm writing this logic in the client side. I'm writing this logic in the client side. What I'm doing is I'm invoking the REST that is implemented in the server. I'm implementing the REST that is implemented in the server. Now let's click on save. Let's click on a preview. Now we have an access token and URL. Now, if I click on a button, then it should be executed. Now I need to have some button there. Now once I click on a button, what should happen? It should execute this logic. By default, this logic cannot be executed. By default, this logic cannot be executed. So what I'll do is I'll create a command button. Now let's use the command button here in the Visual Force. In the Visual Force, I'll say Apex input command button. In the command button, let's say value equal to get the token, and here I'm going to perform an action equal to, let's say method name is request lead details. Let's say that request token, and then that's it, request token, right? Now this is, let's click on executed. Let's say now it is going to give me the error because I do not have this. I do not have that method in the Apex. What I'll do is I'll copy this. Let's go to the here. Now in this, here I'm going to implement public void request token. Now here I'm going to get query this details. Request access token. I'm going to call this method. Request access token. This is why to get access token. Click on save. Let's execute it. Now here I have a button, and if I click on get the token, what will happen? I'm getting the access token and the instance URL. This is my instance URL, and this is my access token. Now here REST API integration, I'm getting the access token from the server. And what is the instance URL of the server? This is the server instance URL. Now I'm able to successfully talk to the server. We are able to talk to the server. The next thing what I'm going to do is in the client, I'll search a lead. Now what I'll do is in the client lead details, I'm going to search it. When I click on a search button on here, what it should happen, it go to the server. Actually, it should search the lead here and give me the output here. Where I am searching in the client. But what is the output should I get it? Output I should get it of the server leads output I should get it. Server lead details output I should get it. So that is the logic. Now let's see how to implement it. Now here I need to implement a search criteria. The search criteria is where I'm going to enter the lead details. Like for example, if I say here, what are the leads I have in the server? Let's go to the server. Now in the server, Sharath is there, right? Now if I'm searching here, Sharath, if I'm searching Sharath, I'm searching here. As soon as I search Sharath here, what should happen? It should go to the server. In the server, check all these details, get me the details and show me the table wise. It should show the first name, last name, email, all these details. It should show me here in the client, right? No. What we are going to do is in the client, let's go to the client. This is the logic access token is we are getting, that is perfectly fine. The next step is I need to implement a UI. So the UI should be, I'm getting the access token instance URL. Now here I need to have a, I need to ask the user to enter the details. Let's say here output, apex output label, and the value equal to enter the lead details, enter, let's say lead name. They are going to just enter the lead name and close this. I need to capture, I need to show here apex input text, apex colon, input text. Now this input text, I'm going to pass the value. Now whatever the user is entering it, I'm going to capture the details in the lead search name. I'm going to capture in the lead search name, and here let's give the ID here, ID equal to, let's say lead name input, lead name input. Let's close this. Let's see how it is going to display right now. Is there any error? Lead search name. I do not have a lead search name in the Apex. I do not have lead search name in the Apex. So now what I have to do is I need to declare that variable in the here. Public string lead search name. Let's say I'm going to get the value as well as the set it. Let's save this. Now I will save this value. Now I'm getting the enter the lead name here. As soon as they enter the lead name, Sharath, as soon as they enter the lead name here, get token, what should happen? Along with the access taken and URL, it should give me the table also. The list of the tables it should give me. The list of the tables it should give me the data. Right? Now that means below I need to have a table. Now let me implement the UI for the table. Now below this, I'll say here apex colon page block table. Page block table value equal to, let's say we are going to get it into the collection. List of the records I'm going to get it from the server. So those details are, let's assume that I'm going to store it in the lead response list. Store into the lead response list. Now here I'm going to specify a variable equal to, let's say L apex page block. Now within this, I'm going to display the column. What are the columns that I need to display? The header value equal to, let's say this is the name, and for example, I'm going to get the value equal to, how I'm going to get the value, first of all here L dot name. Now how do I know what are the details I'm going to get it? If you go to the server, in the server, we have implemented a logic of the get. In the get, I have a name, email, company, phone, mobile phone, right? So these all data I'm going to get it. So which one I am performing in the client side? I am performing the get record. I am going to get the lead records from the server. I am going to get the lead records from the server, which is nothing but a get method. Which is nothing but a get method. Now, whatever I am getting it from the server, I need to display those details here. Now, first I am implementing the UI, then we will go for a logic. Here it is a name, and then I'm going to display the email, and I have a phone number. Now L dot phone, and next one is a company, and here I'm going to display the company. And what else we have? Mobile phone. We'll just take the mobile phone. It should be enough. Right? Now click on the save. It is not going to save it because whatever the lead response list is there, whatever the lead response list is there, that is not yet declared in the Apex class. Now I need to declare that. Copy this, go to the class. Now let's declare here. This has to be a list of the records. List of. Now I cannot give a lead here. Usually we should give a list of the leads. Usually we should give a list of leads, and it should be get and set. It should be get and set. Now this is how it should be. But sometimes it is possible that in the server, whatever the fields that I have, I might not be having those fields in the client. It is possible that right now we have taken the standard object. Now these are the standard fields. Now I can see all the details in the client as well as the in server. Both the sides I can see, right? So, but there is a possibility that sometimes I might not see the same fields in the client side. I might not see same fields in the server. Now, in that case, how can I implement this lead? How can I get the details from the server? Now, I know that the lead is there, but this lead is whatever the data is there, the data, all the fields I cannot be, it is not possible that I'm not 100% sure that all these fields can be present in the client. It is possible. I have a custom object here. I have a different custom object in the client. In that case, it is possible that fields may not be the same in both the or no. In that case, what we will do is we will implement a concept called wrapper class. In that case, we will implement concept called wrapper class. A wrapper class is nothing but, in simple terminology, if I have to say, wrapper class is nothing but this is an object that is created in the Apex. It is an object I am creating in the Apex. Usually object is nothing but we will go to the object manager, right? We will go to the object manager, and then from there I'll create an object. But there are some scenarios I need not to create an object from the object manager. I need it only for the client side. I need it only for the development purpose. I need it only for the development purpose. I need an object. In that case, we will go for a wrapper class. Wrapper class is nothing but, in simple terminology, if I have to say, this is an object that is created in Apex. Like similar to object that we created, object that is created in the, whatever the created in the object manager, same that is, but here what we are doing is the same object we are creating in the object Apex. So here, how I can create a fields also I can create in the Apex. But what is happening here, why we create a wrapper class? In order to store the live data, only in the code, only in the code during the execution or during the some execution or during the automation process. During the automation process, what we can do is we can store the data into the wrapper class. We can store the data into the wrapper class. Basically, wrapper class is nothing but it is a data structure, or you can call it as a abstract, or you can call it as a abstract data type. You can call it as a abstract data type that can contain different objects, that can contain different objects or collection of objects as it is a number. Now in this wrapper class, what are the data types that can be accepted? It can accept the primitive data type. It can accept the primitive data type. It can accept the collection data type. It can also accept the object. It can also accept the object. Right? So this is for storing the data. Now same scenario, I need a real-time data. I wanted to store it into this scenario. I wanted to store it into the real-time data here. Now in that case, what I'll do is I'll go for implementing the wrapper object. I'll go for implementing the wrapper object. Now how can I implement a wrapper object? Wrapper object implementation is similar like you need to create a class within the class. You need to create a class within the class. For example, here it is a lead response. Lead response. Now this is the object creation. This is the object wrapper object. Now within that, I'm going to declare a whatever the data that I needed, I can declare it. I need a public string ID. Right, I'm going to get and set the value because I'm going to use these values in the Visual Force. Otherwise, simply you can declare the whatever the primitive data you needed, you can declare it. I need a name, I need to store the name, and I can store the email, and I can store the phone, company, and then I can store the mobile phone. Now click on save. Now this is the wrapper class. This is called as a wrapper class. Wrapper class. Now this wrapper class, I can take it on top. Instead of a lead, I'll give it here. List of lead responses. I'm going to store into the lead responses list. I'm going to store it into the lead responses. Now this is first I have created the wrapper class. In the wrapper class, by using the wrapper class, whatever the data I'm getting it from the user, whatever the data I'm getting it from the server side, those details I need to store it. Now, first of all, I need to initialize this. I need to initialize it. So that means I need to create a constructor. As soon as the class is loaded, I will get to create a constructor. Now take this lead response list equal to new, whatever this list of the leads are there, take that list of the leads. Right, this is how I'm going to store the data. Now this declaration is done. Declaration is completed. Now next step is whatever the data I'm getting it. Now here I have a method called we are requesting the data. Now once the access token is done, now I need to get the lead details. In order to get the lead details, first of all, I need to build the endpoint, right? Similar to from the workbench, how we are doing it. In the workbench, I am passing here the lead data, right? What are the URL is there? That URL I need to implement it here. Now let's say here string lead get endpoint equal to I have an instance URL. I'll take that instance URL. We'll take the instance URL plus. Now, what are the data that I need to pass in? Services apex list lead service slash. For the get, what I need get is requested here name. So let's go to the, this is I'm building it, and then I'm going to pass name equal to plus whatever I'm searching. Now where I'm getting the lead, whatever I'm searching the details, where I'm getting the details, I'm getting the details of lead search name. Whatever the user is searching it, I'm getting into that. I'll pass it here. I'll pass it down. Right now, my instance URL and service instance, everything is done. Now this is completed. Once this is done, now the next step is I need to do the get. I need to do the get. Same step which I need to implement here. HTTP protocol I need to implement equal to new HTTP, and then HTTP response or HTTP request equal to new HTTP request. The session might end it again, so please join the same link. And here again I need to do the request dot set endpoint. Set endpoint. What is my endpoint? Endpoint is access token. Not the access token here. My endpoint is whatever this endpoint. Now access token, this first one is to get the token. Now once I receive the token, next I need to initiate the call. Next I need to initiate the call. Then after that request dot set method. Set method. This time method is a get method. I need to do the get method. Now request dot, whatever the request is there, the next step is I need to set the header. I need to set the header. Header key is a authorization. Authorization. And what should be the my value? This time what should be the value? The value we have to pass it as a barrier plus whatever the access token we are getting it. Whatever the access token we are getting it. Where is my access token? Now this access token is, you're getting it now. Here is the access token. Barrier plus access token you need to pass in the header. Whenever you are initiating the call, you need to pass the authorization, which is a barrier plus authorized access token. And also you need to set one more header for this request.set header. What is the another set header I have mentioned in my previous session? Content hyphen type. You need to pass the content type equal to application
Slash JSON.
JSON. Right, so these are the two headers we need to pass it for the this, what are the instance, what are the URL that we are calling it for the apex test, we have to pass the two headers. Now the next one is we are done with the endpoint method header. Now the next step is sending the request. H dot send it. Now in order to send the request, I need to pass this request. And what are the response I'm getting it? I'll store it into the HTTP response equal to res equal to HTTP response. Now, here we are getting the response. Whatever the response is there, I'm getting it. Now, what we will check is before going to now what are the response I'll get it, I'll get the response of HTTP request. Okay. So once I get the response, here what response I am going to get it, response of lead details. This response of lead details. Now, usually what we will do is first I'll check what is my status code. What is my status code? If it is a get, then usually the status code will be 200 if it is a successful. If it is a successful, for the get command, it should be a 200. For the get method, it is a 200. Once I get the information, now where do I need to store it? I need to store it into the lead response list. What are the lead response list is there? Here, I am going to do, what I am going to do is first I need to deserialize it. So JSON dot, I'm going to directly deserialize. Simple command I'm going to use it here. JSON.deserialize. And what is the method I'm going to get it? res dot get body. Get body. Now what are the body is there get it? And what is the apex type? Apex type is my wrapper class. Apex type is my wrapper class. Now here I'm going to get the list of lead responses and then dot class. My wrapper class data I'm going to get it. Now once I have this information, what I need to do is I need to convert this. I need to convert this because what are the deserialization is happening on it. I need to convert into the list of lead response. List of lead response. Now entire data is stored into the list. Entire data is stored into the list. Click on save. Get body. Where is it? Click on save. So our development class is done. Now this is the table. And what I'll do is, let me check what are the leads are available. Let's go to the lead. Let's see at least more than one lead you would like to get it. Let's say test. Okay. Now I'll go here and type test. Click on the get the token. Now token is done, but I'm not receiving the details. What is the problem here? I'm not receiving the details. There is no error, but still I'm not able to receive the data. What could be the problem here? Let me print the lead list. System dot debug plus the details. Also, I'm going to print the what is my response. I'm going to get the response. Now here rec dot get body. Click on save. Debug clear. Again, click on the get token. Let's see. Debug lead response. I'm getting it. Session expired, invalid session. Okay. Is it invalid? Maybe my client is expired. Close this. Click on your developer console. Also, I'll refresh this one. Now let me execute the visual force here. File, open resource, integration, Apex class, and also we have implemented open resource VF underscore integration. Click on preview. Let me type here test, execute it. And let's see here, debug, session expired, invalid session. Token type is barrier. There is something spelling mistake somewhere. I'm getting a response. Access token instance URL, everything is perfect. What is the error that I'm getting it? Access token is fine. Slash services, Apex Rest, lead service. Is my lead service name is correct? Lead service, which is right. Name equal to, now here, name equal to, perfect. Now HTTP get response is, I'm not getting the response. Content type, authorization, and what could be the problem here? I'm not getting the status code. Let me bring this as status code. $401, I'm getting it, which is a session expired or invalid. I'm getting the access token. Slash services. Services of expressed. Read service name equal to whatever the search name gives the search name. Let me break this also. Read endpoint. Click on save. HTTP request body. Let me save this. Debug. Save test. L.phone. Visual Force page. I don't have a L.phone. Phone is not there. I'll take out this. Click on save. And again I'll execute. Test. Get the token. And it is integration await response.phone. I did not save it.
So in data table, it is throwing the error, I think.
Data table. Company. Okay. So it has to be a copy this. Has to be same name. If it is a different name, it will not work. Let's say executed. Let's write a test. Get the token. Now we are getting the information, right? So what are the? If I type a test here in the line, let's go to the lightning. Here, if I type test, how many records I'll get it? I have got the 5 records. New test late, test 1 to 3, test 4, 5, test 5 records I got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 records I got it. Now, in case if I do not specify, get the token. So what it is going to do? It is going to display the all the leads that are available in the server. Whatever the leads are available in the server, all the leads it is going to show here. And the leads it is going to display. If you specify, for example, let's say I'm specifying the RAM, click on the get token. Wherever the RAM is there, it is going to display only that information. Right, so this is how we are going to do it. Only thing we have to make sure is the first step is access token. Get the access token. Once it is get the access token, then you need to make sure that endpoint method is get. If you have a get method in the get resources available in the server side, then you need to use the get here. And the header should be a, make sure it has to have a space here. It has to have a space, then here space, and then access token, and the content hyphen type application slash JSON, and the rest. What are the rest body is there, you get the response. So this is how we are going to get the reports. Now tomorrow we will see how to go for the next one is, what else we have? Post. How to create a record from the client to the server. In the client, in the Visual Force page itself, what I'll do is I'll create a record. When I create a record in the client, the record has to be created in the server. Now that part we will see it tomorrow.